Well, this is episode number 32 with our Teacher of the Year award winner for the 2024-2025 school year. So we have Miss Cristen Camp. That is getting a little used to me saying that because I am not used to that last name. But anyway.
Yeah, me too sometimes.
Welcome to the podcast, Cristen. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. So let's just dive into it. So I've known Cristen, we were just talking off the podcast, for roughly 15 years or so. I think I was thinking about it last night. I'm like, what do I say? Like all this. I was like, how long have I known Cristen for? It's like, I think I had just turned like 21, 22, and I started going into Applebee's and stuff. Yeah. So with a mutual friend of ours. So, but yeah, so Cristen, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the honor of being named Teacher of the Year.
Yeah, so there was quite a bit of
submissions, nominations for you. So it was like, pretty obvious choice.
Yeah, there was three really, Teacher of the Year, very good candidates for it, but something stuck out to you, like from other people, and I had told them like, hey, there's a lot more backstory to her situation. So when I started telling them about this, like, I kid you not, like everybody was in tears, myself included. Like I was in tears because I already knew what the story was, but reading it and then talking about it, it was just a completely different animal in that, and then a sense of that. And I mean that in the most respectful way, and you know that. I mean that. Yeah. So so go ahead and give us a little background story of Cristen.
How far? Where do we want to start?
Wherever would you like to start?
A little bit about yourself.
So I'll go just teaching wise. I've been teaching 12 years now, and I really was inspired by my first grade teacher. When I was in fifth grade myself, I got to go back and help in Mrs. Gresham's classroom. So shout out to her. She changed my life forever.
Awesome.
And that kind of led me to, I want to do this. I want to be that safe space for somebody in a classroom. And my apologies if I get emotional.
No, it's totally fine.
This postpartum emotions are there.
I am there with you. We might just be crying.
Yeah. And I'll be like, I can't handle this.
You're like, I already dealt with this.
Yeah, I already dealt with this twice. I don't want to. No, I'm just kidding.
So because she changed my life, I knew since fifth grade that this is what I wanted to do.
Awesome.
And being able to just make the tiniest bit of difference, it kind of fulfills me, even though there's some hard times. Teaching is not for the weak.
No, it's not.
So just going in and knowing if I can do that for one person like it was done for me, then I've succeeded through the year.
Absolutely.
So it's been a passion of mine. I don't know my backup plan because it would be none. Like, this is it. I would forever want to just teach. And so it's gotten me through like really rough times. My husband passed away from cancer. My mom passed away 6 months later, and without my kids, because they're my kids forever and always. Sorry. It's
okay. I knew I knew going into this that this was going to happen, and just the raw emotions of it. We do appreciate that. So
they helped me survive. One of my students in particular, shout out to Aurelie. She helped me when my husband got diagnosed, and she was that kid. She actually invited me to her quinceañera. I was like, that helped me through dark times. So people are like, why didn't you take more time off? And I'm like, my heart is there. They help support me. They help lift me up. So it's like they give back to me as much as I want to give back to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they've definitely helped me.
It's one of the things I think that people say, that we understand that it's an overworked, underpaid position and everything, but it's one of the most rewarding type of jobs that you could ever have.
The running joke is, I went into teaching to be a millionaire, because you don't make millions, but the memories you make are probably worth just as much. Right. So, and I'll forever have those.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not sure if a lot of people know, but I long-term sub as well. So when I'm in the classroom, like, you do have those connections with certain students, and I remember one in particular. And I dealt with all the bad ones. So I like the ones that are in the gangs
no, bad.
The
rougher ones.
I guess I should say the ones that have rough upbringings.
Yeah.
So I dealt with the ones that were in and out of juvenile hall, the ones that are in the gangs, the ones that are running guns, and all of this.
It's hard.
And they all looked at me because I was the same ethnicity as them, and they're like, yo, what did you do to get out of like the situation like that? I was like, well, I had a very special, unique upbringing, apparently, because I had both parents in the household, and that's like what they see a lot. And they're like, well, what made you, get into teaching? I was like, well, tell you the truth, I don't want to be in teaching, but it was always a backup plan for me. Is like it was always a backup plan. It's something like early on I wanted to teach math because I was really good with numbers.
I love math.
Yeah, math is like really my strong suit because the numbers number. That's what I like to say. The numbers number. The numbers are never going to lie when it comes to it, unless you make an error. Then you can go in and fix them. But anyway, so I had one student. He had an ankle bracelet on, and he was like, a house arrest, whatever. And I never judged him for that. And it's just like, hey, look, what can we do to prevent that from happening and getting back into that? But later it was on a Wednesday, and it was right before my birthday too. And I was like, hey man, he was telling me, oh yeah, I'm going to get my ankle bracelet off and I can't wait to get out of the house. And I'm like, you should probably stay at the house.
Yeah.
just stay at the house. Like, I know you have the freedom to leave the house.
Just know that you do.
Know that you have that freedom, but stay out of trouble. That Friday, in the news, like, hey, there was a 17-year-old kid that was shot and killed by the police, and I'm like, oh man, that sucks. We go to, and we're talking at a quinceañera. We were talking at a quinceañera, and Maverick was having the day from, he was having a bad day, and that was actually kind of when I come to a realization that he was autistic. So that happens the following day on Sunday, the day after my birthday. My mom calls me, hey, that kid that was shot on Friday by the police? I'm like, yeah, that was your student. Oh. I was like, so when I found that out, I was just like,
it breaks your heart.
It really did. And I never thought I had that connection with a student until that day, and when I found out that he had passed away. And I'm like, and when the video came out, I was like, Mom, I got to see it. I got to see what happened.
So I'd be able to.
It was rough because what he was doing was ultimately bad. What my personal opinion was, he obviously, all the things that happened, yes, 100% true. He did shoot at the officer, but I've always said he looked like he was falling and he was like gripping the handle, and that's what caused the firearm to go off. And I'm not saying that it wasn't a justified, retaliate. Not, I'm hard finding words for this sensitive situation. I don't blame the officer. I don't blame, the kid for falling, and, that's what I saw because I knew who he was, and that's what I saw. Heart. I kind of knew where his heart was at. He was just, like I said, he was just planted in a very bad situation, and that's what it was. I thought he was a very good kid. He was always very respectful to me, so that's where it's like some of these students are lost, and it's not their fault. It's just all their upbringing.
Absolutely.
So that was
that same child put him in a different environment and had a different outcome.
Yeah, because we had the first day we met, it started off rough, but like once I was trying to break down the walls of like, dude, like you have to understand where I'm coming from and what we need you as a student, and getting that connection to him. Like I really got through to him, other than removing him from the situations that he couldn't help himself get into. So that's the only thing that, not a regret, but just, wish I could still connect with that one student. And then a lot of his friends are like, hey, Mr. V, I heard you had, so-and-so as your student. I was like, yeah, I did. And he's like, what advice can you give me? I was like, and you want to honor your friend? Leave this area as soon as you can. Just leave the area, go start something new. Because if you stick in the same situations, you're never going to grow. Yeah. And that one student, I can't remember if he had, left the city or the state, but I haven't heard any bad things, so I'm hoping that's good. So, but yeah, so they do play on your heartstrings as well. Yeah. So.
And I look for those students because we get, to know them like they are part of your family. Yeah. And it's so hard because when my kids leave, I don't get to see them because they go off to middle school. But I have these troubled kids, and it's so sad because they come to school and they just want to be loved because their home life, they don't get that, hey, you're doing a great job. Hey, like you can do this. So many people just will write them off like, oh, you can't do math. And I'm like, everyone can do math. You just might, excuse me, do math differently.
Yeah.
Or they haven't been given the credit they deserve. So I feel like that's my job to help instill that. If they're not getting it at home, they can know that they can come into my classroom and they will get the love. It may be rough because we're pushing each other's buttons. And there's been times where I have a student that said, should we take a break from each other? And I said, you know what? Why don't you just go take a walk around, come back, and we'll reset. We'll start like it's fresh as soon as you walk in the classroom. And that's totally worked for us. But to get to that point, we had to build those relationships. We had to make
100%.
those connections. And so it's like I look for those students that need that extra love, and I give them as much as I can because I know they're not getting it where they should be. And
Absolutely.
it's like some parents, I'm like, come on, they just want to be loved. They just want structure. They want to know that it's going to be okay.
And you touched on a safe space earlier, too, of creating a safe space. I think it's really important that kids have that. I remember teachers talking about that when we were growing up, and there were exercises that we did to kind of make us all feel safe and where we can be vulnerable and, you know, really thrive in that environment.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you may do in your classroom to kind of set that type of...
I always figured if you are authentically yourself, they feel comfortable being themselves. And I'm a complete weirdo. And I embrace that. I tell my kids right off the bat, like, you got a weird teacher. So I have my little idiosyncrasies that I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to be weird. And if hopefully they jive with me. And then that way it lets them like, oh, I can be myself. She's being herself. And then at the beginning of the year, I feel like the first 3, 4, 5 days, it's all about building community. Forget about academics. Those will come later.
Yeah.
It's all about, let's build that community. We're a family. We're in this together for 180 days, I think it is. We have to love each other. We may not always like each other, but we can still have respect for each other. And then I always start off with, write me a letter. What should I know about you, who you are? And I read them that night so I know like who's dealing with what, and then if someone needs to reach out to me, I can talk to them separately. And so I just keep that open door, like, come talk to me at any time, any moment, and just so that they know, hey, I'm here for you. You're the only reason. I even have like a little Kahoot quiz at the beginning, and they're like, why? One of my questions is, why do I love teaching? And the choices are summers off, I get paid lots of money, and then the right answer is because of you and I love you. And so kids are like, oh, that's so cheesy. And I'm like, I don't care. Like,
They're all cringe.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's
my kids.
Welcome to the classroom. And so, I try to stay up on the lingo and things like that. And so that way they are like, oh, she knows how to relate to us. She knows that we're dealing with struggles in our own. Like, I think it also, when I was a 6th grader myself, I was bullied heavily. And I remember, like, I wish I had someone to help fight for me because I was battling, like, a lot. And as a 6th grade girl, it's rough. So it's like, if I could help the kids get through 6th grade and on and have confidence in themselves and know that they can be them, then I've done my job. And so I feel like relationships, and that's first, and then, okay, let's learn some things.
Yeah.
So, and just helping the students that way.
6th grade is such a pivotal,
Moment,
sensitive time.
And I've
puberty, everything.
And I've noticed that from the jump from 5th grade to 6th grade, there's a complete they're still a little innocent, and then it's like once they hit 7th grade, then it's completely chaotic.
I give it up
My
to the
daughter
7th
is
and
in
8th
6th.
grade
Oh my
teachers,
gosh,
because
yes.
I don't know if I could handle that because I'm still at elementary level school.
Yes, so
Springtime's a little rough because hormones really get involved, but it's like, whew. But it is a very
7th and 8th grade is like, and I think a little bit into freshman year is just like
finding themselves too.
correct. They're finding themselves there. They have all these like hormones going on, and it's just like.
Yeah.
Have you always taught 6th grade, and was it your first choice in what grade level you wanted to teach?
I never wanted to teach 6th grade. I went to Fresno State, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to teach 3rd and 4th grade. This is going to be my niche. I graduated, and there were no teaching jobs. So I did worked at Applebee's, and I did part-time teaching stuff with like reading intervention. a first grade position comes up in a sixth grade. And I'm like, I'm going for the first grade. No way I'm teaching sixth grade. Sixth grade was offered. So I was like, okay, I'm teaching sixth grade. I'm getting my foot in the door. I absolutely fell in love with it. And I had amazing first class. It's funny because now I see those students and they have their families and their kids. And I was like, oh my gosh, you guys were my very first class. And I still remember them, still connect with them. But I just fell in love with it so much because you can really start relating to them. They get sarcasm. I am sarcastic, so it helps. And that you can really be a goofball and they get it. So it's like, oh, this is my niche. And so all but 1 year, I've taught sixth grade. I did teach fifth grade 1 year in Atwater my first year, and then I went up to sixth, and it's been sixth grade ever since. And I'm like, I don't know. This is my niche.
Yeah. So, you know what, now that I think about it, my brother is, I think, math for 7th and 8th graders. So I'm like, dude, bless your heart.
Yeah.
Dude.
I
had
don't know.
originally wanted to do the third grade too, just because I thought it was like, okay, this is the age where they're old enough to like focus for a little bit and they can express themselves and everything. But then when they're reached to about 4th, 5th, 6th, that's when they start having opinion, talking back and, influenced by their friends more than they are teachers. And it was like, oh, it's going to be a difficult one.
We're going to be looking forward to that.
Yeah. But the older ages, you're right. They're able to, really get the jokes and all that.
And it's like, I feel like you could start making impacts and they'll remember it. And not like that's always my goal, but it's like, hey, I'm going to remember you. I might not remember your name, but I'm going to remember your face. Mm-hmm. And I want to build that connection with you. So, and I went back to my first grade teacher, and thanked her. And she's like, one day that's going to be you. And when my first, former student reached out to me and wrote to me, and I was like, that's probably the most heartwarming and fulfilling thing that's ever happened. I'm like, okay, this is my path I'm supposed to be on, to help out. So, and build those connections and have those moments. So it's been very rewarding.
What is one thing that you want your students to take with them after leaving your class? What kind of impact do you want to have on them?
Always believe in yourself. You may not get something right away, and that's okay, because failure, I always tell them it's the first attempt in learning. And is that what you say?
All the time, all the time.
And that it only leads to better discoveries of who you are as a person and what you can accomplish, because there's those moments that are so proud. I had a student a couple years ago. She came in hating math. I can't do math. And I'm like, yes, you can. And then by the end she went from being in the red, which is below standards, to exceeding standards by the end of the year. Nice. And it all stemmed from her confidence and having a teacher that said, you can do it. And that's what I told her. You need to take this to next year, knowing that you can do it. Knowing 7th grade might be hard, but you have the foundational skills. They may not be like the normal way people do math, but you can still do it. So if they can just take away, like, I can believe in myself, and I can accomplish and do big things, and I think that gets them far in life. Yeah,
and I think the one subject that was always difficult, it's still kind of difficult for me now to this day, is English. But I had the one English teacher in my senior year in high school, Mrs. Little, well, also Mrs. Sizemore. But But yeah, she was the only one that actually is like, hey, look, this is the mistake that you're making. He was able to tweak the one little mistake that I was making, and it turned my English grade. I always struggled, and I always got C's, and it turned it from a C to an A. So like once that one little mistake was fixed, it's as simple as that. So
and it just takes someone to take just a moment to look at those things. Like, how can I help this student, and care enough to say, hey, you're doing great, but let's just tweak this one thing or try this one thing. And teachers coming up, and even older teachers, like, I hope that they never give that up. Like, my students are here for a reason. They need to learn. How can I help them be a better version of themselves? And on all the facets that they come in with. So it's like hopefully my kids take them away. And I tell them, just because you leave my classroom, you're still one of my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care how old you are. I see you around town. You're going to be my kid forever and always. So.
Yeah, you say that, and I just saw one of my old baseball coaches the other day. I was on Friday, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on, coach?" He's like, "I haven't been your coach since 7th grade." I was like, "No, you're always you're forever my coach. I can't call you by your first name. I know what his first name is, but I just can't do that." And that's the same thing with like all my principals. Like I always call him, Mr. Kuykendall. He was my principal.
He's my neighbor.
Oh, is he really? Shout out to his. I actually worked with his son. He was my boss for a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah. So
small world.
Yeah, it was a really small world. I was like, I saw the hiring agent. I was like, I think I know who that is.
Yeah.
I remember him as a kid too. It was kind of crazy. And he's like, "Oh, call me Steve." I can't do that. Like it just sounds weird. Like everybody that I've met as a teacher, and they're like, now that like I went and go sub, they're like, "Oh, call me by this." No, I can't do that. Like you were my teacher when I was a kid. Then it's
forever.
just it's out of respect, and that's just how I was raised. Shout out to my dad.
Yeah. Woohoo.
Thanks, Dad.
I know when they try to tell you to call him by your first name.
Yeah.
I
Same with Mrs.
Girl Scout
Gresham. It's
leader,
like
too.
I know Mrs. Gresham's first name, but I'm like, no, she's still just Mrs. Gresham, And shout out to my 5th grade teacher, Mr. Caligari, for letting me go.
I remember that name for some reason. I don't think I had him, but it was just such a unique name that I remember that one. But I obviously didn't even go to that school either. It's just like one of those names that
it's
it's just
definitely a
community.
name. Yeah.
Maybe they came into the bank or something.
maybe I don't know.
Unique name.
Yeah, it's a very unique name. I mean, same with Kuykendall. It's a very, very, very unique name. So
I know and I always know when students what years I had them, because if they say Miss Cornegi and I'm like, okay, I had you
Prior.
prior and
This is
so,
you have a
era.
timestamp.
yeah. But I'm like, hey, initial hasn't changed, so just Miss C if
if you forget.
if all else fails. So it's always nice. I love what I do.
Yeah.
What are some maybe challenges or the biggest challenge that you may have faced in teaching, and how were you able to overcome it?
2 years ago, I had a class where we all kind of seemed to struggle to find that family unit. So it's like, what can I do? And I had a student who had a really rough home life, and we tried to connect, but he was so closed off and so shut down. And I'm like, I'm going to try and just hammer down these walls. The whole campus was the same way. Like, we will show you that we love you. And it took all year long. And we would have real and honest conversations. And I'm like, hey, you know that I have your back, right? And you just have to be honest with me and upfront. And no matter, I will go to bat for you. And he finally is like, you're pretty much the only one. And it broke me. And I'm like, can I just take you home? Like, I'd probably have a house full of kids if I could like take everyone that needed a better home. So it's like, finally he did tell me, like, I get what you're doing. It's just really hard because every time I trust an adult, I get let down. And I'm like, oh my gosh, don't cry.
That's even the worst.
It kills me. And it's like, always know that I'm here. Here's my phone number, because I have like a Google text.
Yeah.
Text me. Here's my email. I have a separate email that's not tied to the school. So that way, if you ever need anything, you reach out and I will do my hardest to be there for you and do whatever you need, because I love you. And he goes, what? Like, he was so taken aback. And I'm like, you need to hear that people love you.
Yeah.
And he's like, no one tells me that at home. And I'm like, oh. So yeah. I know, mom emotions is hard. So it's
you're
like,
getting the dad emotions.
Yeah.
Me too.
So it's like, that probably was the toughest year, because hearing that from these kids, and there was a lot in that class that just felt like they were all broken down. And I'm like, no, we will build each other up as a family, and I will tell you that I love you. I don't care if that's weird, because I do have love for you. And I feel like some kids don't hear that enough. And I'm like, I will tell you until my last breath. And so it was hard, but we managed to get through it. And everyone's like, wow, you had such a hard class. And I was like, there was challenges, yes, but I'm not going to complain, because those kids needed something from me.
Yeah.
And and it was the same year that I was dealing with the passing of all my family members. So everything was on the plate, and I was like, oh, this is tough, but we're going to get through this. And a lot of them knew my late husband because they had gone from the school he taught at. So we all kind of had that connection as well. So they were dealing with stuff, I was dealing with stuff, and it's like, okay, we can get through this. We can manage. So
love conquers all.
yeah.
Yeah, and
we did.
I don't want to hit on the heartstrings too hard, but I remember like everything that you were going through. Like you had just gotten married, you know, you and then like late, it was like within a matter of months you found out about everything that was going on with Anthony.
Yeah.
And I want to say, you know, me and Erica had met Anthony at the tarmac that one time.
Yeah.
We were having what, I don't even remember what Chuck was out there, but we had a conversation, and I was like, I was super happy for you because you'd always looked for love, and you had finally gotten it. And then, you know, just seeing that, it broke my heart. I even told Erica, it's like, man, she just got married, and I think it was like October, and then like that April.
Yeah, we got married in April.
I had it backwards.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I actually was pregnant and had a miscarriage in October. He was diagnosed in December, and he passed away in June.
Yeah.
And then that following March, my mom passed away. So it was a lot. Shout out to my support system because I couldn't have done it without them.
Yeah.
And my work family, because they definitely helped me get through everything. So.
Yeah, like the friendship that I mean, we don't text or talk very often, but like the relationship that we've had, like I've always kept following, you know, everybody that I've always came across, and like as long as we're friends on Facebook, like it's easy to keep up with everything, and just all the memories that we had, like going over to, you know, Applebee's and having happy hour and appetizers and all that, and just it was mainly on Sundays when we would go in, and because we had a friend that would get off, and we would meet him there, and it's like, hey, let's have some appetizers and some drinks, and then
I might have spent extra time at your table just BSing. Like, hey,
no, true story. But
table,
I mean, we always had that conversation. Like, hey, what's up, Kristen? How are you doing? You know, what time are you off? You want to join us afterwards? And 90% I was like, no, you know, I'm working late, and by that time it was like we were already gone. So, but yeah, no, and I always kept up with Kristen, and just, you know, I had always prayed over you because
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I told Eric, I was like, oh man, this is just rough. I can't imagine what she's going through, and I think about like, what would I do in that situation? It's like, I would be such a nervous wreck. So, you know, and I reached out to one of our mutual friends not that long ago. I don't want to say names because I don't want, you know, I'll tell you off the podcast. So. But I had reached out to him, and I was like, hey man, you know, just want to let you know, I know we don't text very often, but I just want to let you know that I'm praying for you, and that I hope that your wife is getting all the care that she needs, and that the doctors, you know, they have the power of Jesus that's going to help find the cure. And, you know, I need to text them today to check in and stuff. But yeah, it's just, I see things, and just, you know, I don't respond as much as I need to. And I think, you know, with the events that happened last week, it changed my view set on a lot of things. Like I need to like reach out to more people, not just.
I held my baby really tight.
Trust me, so did I. I was a nervous wreck until Friday when he was captured. So, and that morning I was just like all this relief of like, and it's somebody that we don't even know who it is, but the impact that he had, like with his voice and talking about, you know, the Lord and everything like that. And it's just amazing that this person did all these things, and then for what happened to him was incredibly horrible. And, you know,
life is precious.
It made me think that, wow, life is precious. Oh shoot! I took my necklace off. I was like, I just bought a necklace. Like,
I'm like, are you wearing a wire?
No. Welcome to the party. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I just bought a cross that's got the American flag, and it says, "You are stronger than what you think and what you believe," and something along the lines of like, keep pushing forward. So
yeah, and that's kind of like what I bring to my classroom. And I had to like, if I speak this to my kids, I have to live it as well. Mm-hmm. And I had those extra 6 months, and Anthony knew his body very well. So like that day that he passed away, we were having great conversations, and he told me, you need to move on and keep loving. And I'm like, oh, don't tell me this. And he goes, and if you don't find someone that treats you well, I'm going to come back and haunt you. And I'm like cracking jokes till the very end. And I was like, okay, you're right. And so it's like, I had to let my heart heal. and which
Absolutely.
I took some time to do that and had my loved ones surround me. I was very fortunate I still have contact with his kiddos. They're still my kiddos. And so that aspect, and like out of the blue, I was able to find someone that loves me and I love him. And then, we recently welcomed my 6-week-old baby. So it's like, I know that my mom and Anthony are finally like, okay, I'm glad that I've wanted to be a mom for so long. And so it's like,
it's finally here.
It's finally here. I may be 40 and an old mom, but it's
nonsense.
I have my baby girl. And I feel like, not to get super religious, but I feel like my mom kind of sent her to me because she was born around my mom's birthday. Not that I totally believe in like she's a Leo like my mom. I'm like, great, she's gonna have my mom's attitude. And so it's like she was such a blessing, and it's like I have to take each moment. And then like the school shootings that happened, I'm like hug my baby real tight because I'm like, I could never imagine.
The first one that happened after Maverick was born, I took that one a little bit harder than I normally would. I was like, dang, another school shooting, like what is going on? But then this one came about, and it's just like I'm sitting there like looking at him, and I'm crying, and I'm talking to Erica, and I'm just like raising my voice in anger, and I'm like, and I had to remind myself, and I'm not yelling at you, I swear I'm not yelling at you. I'm just like, now I have to worry about my son and all of this, and like what's going on. And it all came down to, in my opinion, Jesus isn't with everybody, and I'm okay with saying that now. Like I'm not afraid to say that anymore. And I think a lot of it was I didn't want to offend people. Yeah. Because I know that there are different walks of life, and people have different aspects of religion and politics and all of that other stuff. But now it's to the point where it doesn't matter.
You're gonna live your truth.
I'm gonna live my truth. I'm gonna pray that everybody lives their truth, and if they reject Jesus Christ, that's okay. I'm still gonna pray for them, and I want them to still succeed. Maybe not eat at the same table that I'm eating, but I still want them to succeed, regardless of what their background is. So.
I know I kind of made myself a promise to my own daughter and then the kids in my classroom. It's like, there's so much evil in the world. If I can create the safest place possible for you and know that you are okay with me, then that's going to be my goal. And that you are loved, you can love, and just hope that I can provide as best life as possible for everybody that surrounds me.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. So
that's the goal.
I think that's the mission, right?
That is the mission. That is the mission. So you mentioned, 12 years ago you started teaching. What school did you teach at? If you're willing to share that.
Oh, no, I've originally worked in Las Banas at Loreno Velasco Elementary. Loved it there. Met some really awesome people that I'm still in contact to today. We built great relationships. But what got me was the drive. So that commute, 45 minutes to an hour, and in the fog, and first year teaching, like I was falling asleep at the wheel. I'd have to call my mom on the way to school and on the way home. And my mom's like, you can't keep doing this. And I was like, you're right. So I applied everywhere and closer to home. And I went into Atwater district office, and I thought I bombed my interview. And they're like, no, we loved you. Like, would you be willing to take a first grade position? They offered me first grade at first. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going from sixth grade to first grade. That's such a huge difference. No, like, sure, And my mom's like, God opened this door for a reason. Like, just step into it, see where it leads. So I said yes. And then I want to say a month later and it was a month before school started, they said, you know what? Someone really wants to actually teach first grade, and they have a fifth grade position. Would you want to swap? And I said, absolutely. They're like, oh, do you want to think about it? Nope. Don't need to think about it at all. This is great. And so, best decision I ever made. I still keep in contact with those kiddos because I had the pleasure of teaching them for fifth grade, and then I rolled up to sixth grade with them. Nice. So I had them for 2 years.
That's awesome.
And it's like, I remember going to their basketball games and stuff like that, and I'm cheering for them, and someone asked me like, oh, which kid is yours? And I'm like, all of them. And they're like, you don't have a kid on the team? And I was like, no, I'm their teacher. And they're like, oh, we thought you were a mom. And I was like, I'm all their moms, because like I want them to know that I'm going to show up for them, and
You refer to them as your kids.
They're my kids
when you talk about them
yeah.
too. Yeah.
And they even were like, "Oh, we heard you on the court, Miss Carnegie. You were so loud." And I'm like, "I want you to know I'm there for you." And even outside of school sports, they've asked me to come, and I'll show up, and they're like, "You actually came?" And I'm like, "If you invite me and I can be there, I'll be there for you. I will be there, your support, if I can, every single time."
I remember some of my favorite teachers, would pass out our invitations for our little birthday parties when we were growing up. And my 5th grade teacher, shout out to Miss Kiefer, she came to my birthday party, and our AC was out that day. And my birthday's in June, and it was so hot. And my mom was cooking up a storm. In the classroom, all the people came, and my soccer team. So we had tons of people in the house. But the teachers that really, care, they do show up inside and outside. And I don't think a lot of people realize how much time goes into teaching prior to teaching and like after. You take your work home, you have lesson plans, you have all the things you have to do, grading and everything, and it's
my brother tells me all the stuff that because he coaches soccer, he coaches flag football, he coaches baseball, and I'm like, dude, you need to like
I know people tell me, because I help with yearbook, I'm on pentathlon coach, my yearbook. I used to do a lot more. This year I had to kind of take a step back with a newborn.
Understandably.
And they're like, "Why do you do that? It's not like you get paid extra." And I'm like, "Well, I do it for the kids." And some of it I just love doing. I can't say no. They're like, "Yes, you can." And I'm like, "But I love it." So it's hard to say no to something you love, because it's just rewarding in the end.
Absolutely.
And I'm also type A. I've come to like really accept that. So it's like sometimes it's hard to give up control.
Yeah.
But I never, when I leave work doesn't stay at work. Like it comes home, and I've kind of just accepted that. And my brother, he used to live with me, and be like, "Hey, what are you doing? Want to help grade papers?" And he's like, I'm like, "I'll buy you dinner," like something like, but now finally I have a system after 12 years, finally, figured things out, but it's kind of all worth it to me. So I don't mind it.
Yeah. My brother says the same thing. He's like, "Dude, I'm so busy," but he loves it. So, and I'm like, dude, shout out to my brother again. Like, how can you do that? But no, he tells me day one, he's firm, strict, like,
firm but fair is the saying.
Firm but fair. And then once a couple weeks go by, and then he breaks down his wall so that way his students can break down the wall. But he wants them to know at first off the rip, like, this is how it's going. This is my classroom. You're going to respect the rules. And if you don't,
August to October, it's like, here you go. This is what we're building. Let's not break it.
Yes.
And then you can kind of start.
Yeah, well, I mean, with him, it's like usually after like the first couple weeks, because he kind of gets like a gauge of like, he gets into it, and then it's like, okay, let's start to pull the curtains back. And he I always rag him for this, but so when Daxon was born, he was all dressed, he had his tie on, and I'm like, "Where are you coming from?" He's like, "Oh, I'm coming from work." And I'm like, "You're a teacher, like, why do you have a tie on?" He's like, and he goes, "These kids don't know what it's like to see somebody dressed professionally."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's only me and another teacher out there that dress professionally. And then like Fridays, I think he does like his fun day where he dresses out how like quirky and whatever. Yeah. And everybody knows that he's a big Giants fan and a big Eagles fan. So he has shown me like mugs that he's gotten from all of his students and all of that. And that brings me to my question is like, what is one of the favorite items that you've ever received as a teacher?
So
you can name more than one. That's okay.
Okay.
I saw the struggle in your eyes.
There's been a lot.
Like the kids might be watching this.
Yeah.
There are going to be multiple. And if she forgets, she apologizes in advance.
No, the personalized things, the homemade things, the ones that like, oh, you see me as a teacher. I have, favorite candies and things like that. So them like, oh no, you like Butterfingers, so I'm going to get you a Butterfinger. Oh, your dog's named Millie. Let me get Millie a toy. And just those little personal touches. Shout out to a parent. She's a great gift giver. I had her son, and then I just had her daughter last year. She has 2 more daughters coming up. Her and her kids, like, they care and they show that, and just the little tiny personal touches, they make a big difference.
Yeah.
And I have one, it was a kid made it out of wood and like burned my last name into it and did this little artwork, and all by himself. And I was like, wow, this is really talented. And another one made this little pencil, and some drew pictures. Someone created a canvas for me, and I hung that in my classroom. And they're like, walked in, they're like, you still have that up? And it was years after. And I'm like, yes, like, you gave this to me. I am proud of what you did. So it's all those little personal things that you took time to get to know me, and you created this for me. It's like, I love that. I think it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so one of the ones that was to me was, and I've only gotten like 2, so it's really easy for me to like pick them out. So I had one where she made. I'm a big Niners and Giants fan. She made one that flipped over. That the one side was Giants and one was Niners.
Oh, that's amazing.
So that was pretty cool.
So your brother went wrong with the Eagles. Just saying. What happened here?
Well,
No,
okay,
just
hold on.
kidding.
So how he became an Eagles fan, and I will defend him for being an Eagles fan, is when we were younger, and I'm talking like we were like 3 and 5. Like, this is how young we were. He would see the name Phil on there for the Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles, and he's like, oh, that's my team. And he's been an Eagles fan ever since he was like 4. So
okay,
he
so
gets
at least
a pass.
he's like,
yeah, he's been an
didn't
Eagles fan.
flip-flop or
no,
anything,
he's
yeah.
never flip-flop. He's always been an Eagles fan. Anyway, so I had the one, and I'm sad that it broke. Like, it's just like, it just started falling apart, and
Yeah.
you know, I really appreciate it. So it like really broke my heart that I had to throw that one away. But
Yeah.
the other one that she had made, she knew that I was really into history and all of like everything, like from the start of America to like what's going on now. So she knew that I was like very, very savvy when it came to history, and she wrote on what like the original like hemp paper, like what they used to write on back in the day, and she made it look like that. And then she put the Pledge of Allegiance, the original Pledge of Allegiance.
wow,
And I was like,
how creative.
I know. I was like, I really like this because it was very personal to me, but
Yeah.
it to the regular person, it doesn't look like it's very personable at all. So,
Yeah.
and
I mean, not that I don't mind like a Starbucks gift card, but it
Yeah.
it really is those personal touches that I feel like they mean so much. Like,
Yeah, and-
hey, you got to know me. And
I think, I was gonna say, like, I think mine was like with they had put like a whole bunch of candy like in a thing, and I don't even candy, but it was like the time that took into it.
Yeah.
But there was a canvas one too, and the dad had painted the picture, and it was very earth and realistic, but in the corner was like a little giraffe in like stick figure form with like made in colored pencils like drawn on the thing, and I was like, oh, that's her contribution to it. This was when I was teaching transitional kindergarten. And then now that I have
bless you.
homeschool with all my kids, one of the things I got from them was when I was in the hospital after having my last baby, and we had a home birth, but then we had to go to the hospital, and I was there for almost a week, and my little ones had, out of a shoebox, had made like a little mailbox and put like mom's letters and things in there, and they had drawn all these things, get well soon and everything, so they wanted me to use it like a mailbox. It was the cutest thing.
That's cute.
Yeah, I think
it's
that
definitely those personal things. And we got a lot of those when Anthony was diagnosed with cancer. His old school created so many wonderful things in this blanket. He was a Star Wars nerd. And
I like it.
Yeah. And on the back was all these like handwritten messages from all the kids in his school. And I'm like, wow, like that meant more than anything. So again, I think the teachers in general just love that when kids see you. Because we try, that's our goal, to make sure that we see the kids and they know, like, hey, I see you. But when they take the time to see us, it's like, oh, this is nice. And it's appreciated. So
Yeah, I just randomly thought of this right now. I had one of my old students. He was struggling with depression, anxiety, and he, had a little bit of drug abuse. And and when he came to me, his mom like really like talked to me, and he was like, hey, can you make sure that he's okay? And, I had him as a student. I made sure that he was good. And then he started having a mental breakdown. And, he came back, and then I talked to him. I was like, hey, are you doing good? He's like, I'm doing okay. It's like, and I was like, told him, I was like, just know that we want to make sure that you're healthy, whether it's mind, body, or spirit. We want to make sure that you're healthy. So fast forward to a couple weeks ago, or probably about a month ago, I saw him, and I was like, hey, is your name so-and-so? He's like, yeah. I was like, I'm Mr. V. He's like, Mr. V, I didn't even recognize you. How are you doing? I was like, how are you doing? I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to know about it. How are you doing? he's like, I'm good. You know, I have a kid now, and I'm like really trying to like be on that same path. And I gave him my business card. I was like, if you have any issues and you're struggling with anything, do not hesitate to call me. I will hear you out. I'd rather hear from you than, you know, see something on the news or having somebody carry you by 6. And when I told him that, it was from the heart. And I truly mean that. And if he's watching this, I hope he sees this. And that's like, just know that I do care about every single one of the students that I've ever came across and the future ones that I might come across, because Maverick's now going into TK. And I know I told the teacher yesterday, because we had a parent teacher conference. I told her, I was like, hey, you know, let me know if you need any help with like field trips, if you need to like wrangle kids up and like make sure that they're, you know, if you're walking somewhere, you know, I have a very, very flexible schedule. And I'll more than be happy to help you guys out. So, and she's like, oh, I appreciate that, you know, and she was telling me like, you know, some of the parents that come in, you know, they come from rough neighborhoods and they just can't, they want to, but they can't. Yeah. So she's like, I really appreciate that you want to be able to help. So she's like, you don't get that very often with parents, which is pretty sad to hear. So,
yeah. And I've had a student, I think he was 8th grade at the time or freshman, came back, goes into the office, and they're like, hey, this kid's asking for you. He doesn't seem like he's in a good headspace. So I went out there, we walked the entire block, and he's just like, he's going through a rough time dealing with the depression. And so I was like, I felt privileged that he felt safe enough to come back to his elementary school, back to a 6th grade teacher, and basically spill his guts. And finally he's like, you know what? I feel better from this walk. Like, we can go back. And I was like, again, here's my information. I need you in a week to write me and tell me that you're okay. Yeah. And then a week after that. And so he did. And then it became like a month. And then recently he wrote back again, and he told me like, thank you so much. I now have a daughter and this, that, and the other. And it's like, you feel privileged knowing that these kids divulge so much and trust you enough, that because they don't have someone else, it's like
they just link to you. That's the only person they've ever connected
with
and have their safe space to be, you know.
And it's like, I will always be your biggest cheerleader. And I tell my kids that all the time. I will always be your biggest cheerleader. And you may get into some trouble, but if you're honest with me, I'll still have your back. We can work on like how we can do better next time, but I will always go to bat for you if you're honest with me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think once the students know that as long as you tell me the truth, like you're gonna get through it. Yeah. I think a lot of them are like, oh, if I say the wrong thing, I'm gonna get in trouble. It's like, and I tell Maverick and Daxton all the time, it's like, tell me the truth, and you won't be in as trouble. You'll probably be in trouble, but not as much. I know. It's like, because lying is worse than telling me the truth, because if you tell the truth, you're owning up to your own mistakes.
Yeah. I know last year I had a student, like, lunchtime was a struggle as far as, like, behaving himself. So he'd just come up to me like, okay, I'm going to be honest, this is what I did. Like, I didn't even have to ask. Nobody tattled on him. He would just, you know what, I'm going to tell on myself. I'm like, okay, what do you think your consequence should be? Like, I'll
empower them.
Yeah, I will let you determine your consequence. And he's like, oh, I should probably sit somewhere else, and I should probably maybe, walk during my recess instead of play. And I'm like, if that's what you think your consequence should be, then I'll have you own it. And
that's
so
hilarious.
It's like, if he just knew, like, you know what, someone's going to tell him anyway, I might as well own it. And then I said, okay, but next time, how can we improve ourselves? And he goes, I probably should remove myself from the situation to begin with. And I'm like, I like that idea. So giving
I need to remind myself that too.
Like, remove yourself.
So when you have situations with the children and they're troubled and everything, how do you handle sometimes being able to convey that to parents that are, or if there's an issue in the classroom, how do you partner with parents to work on that with the children?
I think knowing your parents too is different, because you're going to be a different parent versus how you're going to be a different parent, how I'm going to parent differently. So I kind of have to know, I try to get to know the parents a little bit more. And during parent-teacher conference, which is actually this week for my school, I kind of get a gauge on them. And if they're working a lot, or maybe they got 10 other kids, so it's hard for them for the last one.
Bless those people that have 10 kids.
So it's like getting to know the parents.
I'm not quite there yet.
I just thought of that right now.
Kind of helps me approach how I'm going to talk to the
Yeah.
parent. Some parents, it's just as simple through Parent Square. Hey, so-and-so kind of had a rough day. Here's what happened. Parents are like, thanks for letting me know. I'll take care of it. Or I'll make a phone call. Sometimes I just know it's better that that parent might be too stressed out to handle it. How can I handle it within the classroom? And then if I have to contact parents that said, hey, Bobby had trouble, then I go and look like, okay, what are the times that he didn't get in trouble that I can call the parents and say, hey, you had a really good day?
Right.
And because parents
Kinda
normally,
sandwich it.
yes, parents normally always get phone calls home that are so negative. So it's like, I want to try and do the opposite sometimes and feed in some positive, like, hey, might have some troubles, but there are good days.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I really feel like, and sadly, there's parents that just aren't as able to be there as much as we would want them to be. So it's like, okay, I'm now the parent of this child. What would I want, and how could I help the behavior and handle that as much as I can
Right,
within
while
the
they're in your
classroom.
care.
And then we have, like at my school, we have a great person we go to. She's a COC, community outreach coordinator. She helps those kids in need too that might need that extra support that they don't get at home. So finding those resources within your school system that they might not have at school or might not have at home helps with behaviors as well. So, and I think sometimes I have to remind myself each day is a new day, and that kid had a bad day yesterday, they get a new slate with me that
Yeah.
morning. Because, I mean, we all have bad days.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
If you held
Absolutely.
my day that I had 2 days ago against me, like,
Yeah.
that wouldn't be fair. So I give them the grace that they deserve because
Right.
they're trying to figure
And all
life
of
out
those,
themselves.
They're all teaching moments. You know,
Yes.
it's not
Oh,
always
yeah.
about, like you said, about the academics, but you're teaching them, training them, and understanding how to handle, like, build that resilience
Yeah.
with them, with life skills.
And I do give parents, I have a Google text number that they can, feel free to reach out. We can have communication, and we've done that. Check-ins, what can I do? And it's really just, I think I posted this the other day. It takes a village.
It does.
Yes.
And I will be part of that village for anybody that I can, because I've gotten my village, and it takes that support. So if we can figure out how we can help behaviors, then let's make a game plan. And I've even had parents like, what can I do at home? And I'm like, positive reinforcements work great. And then just letting your kid know, like, I know you've made a mistake. It doesn't make you a bad
Correct.
kid.
Right.
We just make some
Bad choices.
bad choices,
Yes.
but we
Yes.
can learn from them.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
And I tell my little ones, like my Mav and Dax, and it's like, didn't make a good choice there, did you? No. Let's make better ones.
Yeah. Like, how can we learn from
Yeah.
this?
Yeah. And I'm like, obviously I would say it like comedic, and I'm like, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a little rough around the edges, and my wife has to be like, being a little too hard on him. I was like, I hear
Reel it
you.
in.
I need her to tell me that, because sometimes I'll just go off the rails. Like, I'm like, what is going on? Derailing a train and stuff
It's
like
like
Yeah.
the father-mother relationship.
the yin and the
in
yang. Because
there.
sometimes she'll
Yeah.
do it too, and I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
I didn't
Cop,
see what
bad cop.
happened, but like,
Yeah.
go take a breather. And I was like, so we do it to each other. So it's not like
Yeah.
one is going harder than the other.
Yeah.
It's
Depends
like,
on the situation.
yes,
the moment.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
The day.
And then I have to come in there. Hey, okay, Dad.
Yeah.
Why did
Sometimes
it have
it's
to
the
get to
voice.
that?
It's the bass
Oh,
in the
it's-
voice, I think. I don't
It's
know.
all about, for me in the classroom too, it's my tone. Because, I'm a goofball. My tone is very all over the place. But then some students even say like, oh, she used the voice. Like, she's serious. Like, look at her face. Like, she's serious now. Like, okay, guys. So there's only those moments. So I think, and I'm human too. Like, we've all had those moments where we've been frustrated, and it's like I've fully owned up to anything that I've done in the classroom, even if I make a mistake with academics, like I was showing them something wrong or misspelled a word, and I always turn it like, oh, I was
Testing you.
testing you, making sure you caught that. Because, and I tell my students, we all make mistakes. We're all human. It's how you come out of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you own up to it? And I'll own up
Yes.
to my mistakes, my frustrations. Like, hey guys, I'm having a bad day, and I apologize if that came out wrong. And so I feel like kids need to know that adults are
Yes.
human too.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that we make mistakes and we can own them, and that gives them the grace, like, oh, it's okay.
Yes,
It's
all
okay.
of those are teaching moments.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
I'll
tell
be
my
the-
daughter the same, like, because I struggle sometimes with all the new technology that comes out or things, and she's struggling in an area, and I said, you know what, this is not your fault, you know, because I homeschool too, so I'm like, this isn't your fault that you don't understand this that's going on. It's not anything that you are an excellent reader, you're an excellent writer. This is because mom doesn't understand the technology part of how to do this, but we're gonna figure it out. So,
I'm like,
you know.
FaceTime me, I'll help out.
Yes. I was going to ask one more question. What advice would you give to a teacher or to a person that is aspiring to be like an educator? What type of advice would you give them to someone entering into the field?
Make sure you have a big heart.
Mm-hmm.
That heart's going to be stumbled all over, but if you come into it with compassion and you're passionate about it, you have a big heart, and you're really there for the kids. It's not just an easy job.
Right.
But if you go into it like knowing I could help these students as people and also to grow academically and make them know, like, you can read. I'm going to help you. You can spell. We might have to spell every single word. I got that last year. Like, hey, Miss Camp, how do you spell? Miss Camp, how do you spell? And it's like the whole class just kind of knew, like, okay, let's help him out.
That's
and so
awesome.
it became like almost a game. Like, okay, what word is he going to need today? And it becomes a sense of community. And then find your community. Because if I didn't have the teaching partner I have right now and a previous one I had, Mr. Johnson, the struggles are hard. So find your people within campus that help you get through those tough times, and never be afraid to grow as an educator. Like, I went in 12 years ago. A lot's changed in 12 years. So I always look for, how can I be better? How can I be a better teacher? Because I want to do the best by them. How I taught math 12 years ago is a lot different. My students, they're the leaders during math. I sit back and help facilitate because I feel like things should be hands-on and just letting them discover things. And my type A personality had to learn, let things go, and it's okay. I also believe in noisy classroom, not chaotic and misbehave, but a noisy classroom is a learning classroom.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a beehive. Like
Yes.
the hives, little hives are going and
Yes.
buzzing. And
They shouldn't sit down and sit still and be quiet the whole time, and you just up there yakking at them. They're going to zone out, fall asleep.
Oh yeah, especially with today's kids. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, it should
bye-
be
bye.
interactive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Shoot, I squirrel.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Like, I'm probably the worst student because I'm like, if you don't engage me, I'm going to start doodling off to the side. And
That reminds me of a meeting that I was in last week. They're like, oh yeah, we're going over the new products and stuff like that. And I go, is there a visual that we need to be looking at? Because
yeah.
there wasn't a visual, so I'm like, dude, I'm checked out. Like,
Yeah.
I need something to follow along with. And it was
Yeah.
just,
creating those learning moments, because not every kid learns the same.
Correct.
There's that, I
Styles
think,
vary.
a drawing where it's like an elephant and a bird and different animals, and then it's like, okay, everyone climb this tree,
Right.
but they're gonna need different ways to climb up
Yeah.
that tree. And so just trying to figure out, I call it my
What works for
toolbox.
them. Yeah.
Like, what in my toolbox can I help you? It's going to be different from you, and even different from me. I learn a different way. So and don't give up unless it's
Yeah.
really, and if teaching isn't for you, it's okay.
yeah, it's
'Cause it's not for everyone.
everybody. It's not for
true.
everybody. It takes a special type of person, and obviously, Cristen, you are a very
Thank you, I
special type of person
appreciate
for that. So
It's not a profession, it's a calling.
Yes,
yeah,
it
it
very
really
much
is. So, and I've always contemplated. I was like, do I want to get back into it? Do I not want to get back into it? It's like I'm more of a numbers guy, so I love what I'm doing. But if there was this backup plan, yeah, probably would, because of how the students like have come up to me and be like, "Hey, Mr. V, how are you doing?" Like I went to
See?
7-Eleven the other day, like, or this is like last summer. And he's like, "Hey, Mr. V, are you going to be teaching this year?" And I'm like, "I don't know if I'm going to be teaching this year." Like, I'm trying to get the lending thing taken off because it's a little
Yeah.
bit more flexible, and that's why I like it. Is the flexibility. It's like, but you never know. You never
Yeah.
know if I'm going to be there, but
So those
I know
connections,
it's like
they get you.
Yeah, it really is. And I told him, I was like, who's your teacher? And he told me, I was like, okay, well, just know, yes, I know she's not like you. She's different. I was like, every teacher is different, but every
Yeah.
teacher cares
Know your
about you.
audience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, every teacher cares about you. He's like, Mr. V, I just like the way that you taught because you actually connected with me as a person instead of a student. And it's
Yeah.
like, dang,
breaks
is
your
this like,
heart.
it's like, it's like, is this
Yeah.
drawing me in? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, we'll see. Who knows?
Yeah. And I've learned that too, like, not every kid that comes through your classroom is going to have that same connection.
Correct.
We're all different personalities.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean I love them less. I just hope that they know that I'm there for you when you need it. We just might be on different wavelengths. And
Yeah.
if you
It's like
connect.
magnets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like.
Yeah, if it's two negatives trying to get together, it's going to reject you. Same with two positive. It's
Not
going
that
to
you're
reject it.
rejecting your
Yeah.
student.
Yeah, no, it's just like
You don't
they're-
bond the same
I'm
way.
talking
Maybe
in a
chemistry is
I'm
more-
talking in a scientific form, so
No. I understand the
I
metaphor.
know. But yeah, no, it's science. It's science. I love science too. Anyway,
Yeah. But it's just like you may have connected with, fourth grade or fifth grade because you just vibe differently.
Yeah.
Or the
Absolutely.
season the child is going through.
Yes.
Yeah,
or they're
absolutely.
going
It
through.
really
or
is.
something. Yeah.
All dependent on that, but it doesn't mean you love them less.
Correct.
And I think students sometimes struggle with that, like, oh, my teacher doesn't like me. It's like the connection might not just be made.
Right.
So it's like every teacher, make sure you love your kids. Show them that.
yeah, show them
You
that.
may not always like them, but always love them.
And this is why she's the teacher of the year for 2024, 2025. So
Thank you.
we are absolutely looking forward to doing 25 and 26 coming up
Yes.
pretty soon. So
I
more
know.
news on that probably come the turn of the new year. So we'll
Can't
get
believe
more
it's
information.
already September.
I know, like-
it's going to be coming up.
It's crazy. That's in 3 short months, and then we'll start talking about that again. So
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
like, whoa, this is really coming
But
through. So
congratulations to you.
Yeah,
Yes,
congratulations.
thank you so much.
Well-deserved,
Yes.
I
and,
appreciate it. You
know.
caught me off guard when you came into my room and waterworks were happening.
I was so
And when we did come into your room, there was a lot of noise, and I was thinking, are we interrupting something right now?
Yeah,
like
it-
they were in the middle of the project. The children were standing. They were very engaged with each other. Stuff
Oh,
was-
yeah, we were working
there
on-
was learning
it was
taking
so
place.
fun to see, like, hey, I know who you are.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you said. I remember that. I was like,
Yeah.
hey, I know who that Who are all
I
these
know.
people?
I was like, did not expect you to walk through my classroom at all. Like,
it was so hard to keep my mouth shut because I wanted to tell you we knew for about like a week, right?
It was, the goal was to surprise the nominee on Teacher of the Year week, or
Oh.
Teacher of the
Teacher of the
teacher appreciation
Teacher-
week.
yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Teacher Appreciation Week. I was thinking it was towards the end of May.
Yeah.
Or just
Mid-
middle of
mid-May,
Middle
I think is
'Cause
what
you
it
know
was.
what? My due date was May 15th, and I think that was the original.
Oh,
date.
yes,
They
I
were
Yes.
like,
I remember
okay.
We'll do it the
that.
week before.
Oh, no. I had her May 28th, but we were getting
Yeah.
down to the wire.
Yeah.
Yeah, so going into the campus, I was like super excited. I was like, oh my God, I finally get to see Cristen and let her know. Like, I've been trying to keep this a secret. And,
Yeah.
it was so cool to just see you like light up. You're like, what are you guys doing
Yeah.
here? And so that was
It's
pretty
very,
cool.
very much appreciated. And with that money, I back into the kids and got STEM projects. And
Awesome.
they're all about, I like flexible seating. So I got these stools that actually have the chair as a tractor bench.
Oh, okay.
So they can kind of roll around and they're not
That's so
stuck in the
cool.
same
Yes.
chair.
That's awesome.
And then I could use it as a reward system. Like, oh, if you have this, you can take this back to your desk.
Yeah.
So it's very much appreciated. And
Very
thank you
nice.
so much
Yeah.
for the opportunity to give back to the kids.
Yeah.
So.
It's something that, obviously it's all Marisa that came up with the idea, and I did
Kudos
help out
to
a
you.
lot with
I
it.
just wanted to give back to the teachers. I just think there's a shortage of good ones, even though we have, a lot of great ones out there, but it's the ones like you that are really making a difference for
Thank you. That-
children.
That means a lot.
Yeah. But I want to give a huge shout out to Marisa for starting the whole thing of like doing Teacher of the Year and everything like
Yay.
that. So it was really her idea. So last year, 2024, the YPNer of the year.
Thank
She
you.
was the YPNer of the year for
Yay.
for this specific reason. So, I wanted to give you your flowers on that
Thank
because
you.
it was
well
it was
deserved.
yeah, no, it was
Thank
well
you so
deserved.
much.
It was well deserved. So, and Marisa, thank you for putting this on for the Teacher of the Year. So be on the lookout for 2026
Yes.
because we are going to do it again.
Yes.
And we hope this stays a thing from here on out, because we do appreciate all the teachers that are out there, not just Cristen and the previous winner.
And make sure you're thanking your teachers.
Yes.
Let them know about the wonderful part that they're playing in your lives, either in the present or past teachers you've had. You need to hear these things.
We appreciate it. Even a little card.
Even a little
Post-it note.
Even a little card, as weird as it is, even though it's just a card with nothing in it other than like words and saying like their appreciation, it's just like, oh man, that made me feel really good. And it goes a long way. It goes a long way to even I seen this meme that's like, you're having a bad day, and then like the one where you go home and like everybody's excited to see you. That little thing that has that. And I hate to be morbid, but it can save somebody's life.
Yeah.
It really can, because they can be going through the worst day that they possibly can. And you just saying, hi, how's it going?
Yeah.
You have a wonderful day. Like I've been trying to greet people and like saying, hey, and at the end of the conversation, you have a wonderful day, or, God bless, something along the lines of that. Yeah. So that way they know like there are still nice people out there.
Yes.
So
I think it reminds me of Patty's saying, and she's not here today, bless her heart, but her saying is, I think, make someone smile today, or try
something like that. Yeah,
along the lines of that.
Yeah,
I'm probably butchering it. I'm sorry, Patty, but
it could really change the trajectory of someone's
really
day.
can. You just never know.
Impact your words have on people, positive or negative. So be careful when you speak.
Yes, very much.
Absolutely,
agree.
And always have a conversation. Always have a conversation. It's kind of why I like this podcast. Get to talk. Get to talk.
That's why I became a teacher, so I could talk. I do love to talk.
So I got to ask, any shout outs that you like to do right now?
Oh, there's so many. My major support system personally. Not going to lie, without Derek, I don't think being a first time mom is rough. So, and then my teacher friends, Raina, shout out to you. She's helped me in so many ways to be a better teacher as well. My teaching partner, Javier. I had a principal, Michelle McCabe. She helped mentor me, and she's such a positive person, so positive. And I'm like, I want to be like her. So that helped a lot. And my former teaching partner, he had to retire, Scott Johnson, he helped me a lot to become like a better teacher and to be human.
That's awesome.
So, and anybody else I missed, I'm sorry. I have mom brain.
Yes, I know, I'm there.
So I just
I never had mom brain, but I know, because I've seen it.
Yeah, and then my family, without them, I wouldn't be who I am today. And so I really appreciate everyone, and thank you to you guys, because having this opportunity to speak of who I am. And
absolutely.
Else,
getting to see the backside of a person is always awesome. I knew a lot of your story, but hearing a little bit more of it, it was a special moment for us. And so, a little bit of teary-eyed, full of tears.
And I didn't know all of the whole entire story, but when we were running through the nominations and everything, AJ had shared a bit, and it was just, I think it touched everyone.
I'm telling you, everybody was crying, myself included. I was crying. I'm not even kidding.
A hardship, and and still sewed into so many.
Marisa, who do you want to give a shout out to, teacher-wise?
Teacher-wise, I think my mom being one of my very first teachers, and then I'd say my first grade teacher. It's funny that you taught first grade and fifth grade, because I had so many wonderful ones, but the two that stood out for me were Mr. Brown, my first grade teacher, and I do want to reach out to him one day and give him his flowers or whatever it is. I remember him liking cereal. It was funny, but
cereal is awesome.
We used to play this game called Around the World, and it was a flashcard math game, and I excelled in it and would lap the classroom at times, but I wasn't having the best a time during that time with home life. I didn't grow up with a father and everything, so I was struggling with a lot of different things, and I felt seen in that classroom. There's one area that I was doing well in, and my teacher called my mom and told her that told her about it. I didn't even know that he did that until I got home, and my mom told me that Mr. Brown called today and told this, and it made me feel so special, seen, and everything. So when you were talking about the positive calls that you get back, and it was in that grade that I decided I wanted to be, a teacher. Didn't decide to stay in the classroom because now I have my kids and everything, but the other teacher was my fifth grade teacher, Miss Kiefer. And she used to read us all kinds of different stories. The read alouds were my favorite part. It was after recess, and she read Where the Red Fern Grows, and I'm currently reading it with my kids right now. It's such a tearjerker.
Oh my
And she did
what a
all the
book that
voices.
was.
She was from Kansas, so she had a southern accent and
fun.
everything, and she would do it. And we actually, a lot of our students, now that Facebook connects everybody, a lot of my classmates, we were talking about it not too long ago online, and we reached out to her, and she wants to get all of us together
Oh, nice.
in Sacramento. Yeah, I think I remember she was 50 the year that I was, and so that was in 1995. So she's getting up there, and I would like to see her and visit her. So Miss Kiefer, Mr. Brown, my mom, and my last one that, sorry, I'm doing a whole thing, but was Miss Farner. She was my Girl Scout leader, and now she's like a nana to my children. Yeah, I went through from about 3rd grade to senior year in high school with her, and never, we always came back because it was one of my safe places. So I always came back to talk to her, and when I was even abroad, emails and everything. So yes, Miss Warner, I love you so much. Thank you.
For me, I have quite a few because I went to school at Peterson. I had Mrs. Hughes, Ms. Luna, Ms. Pedroza, Alvarez, Ms. Woodbury, like all of them are really great. But the one that really stuck out, and I think it stuck out to a lot of people in Merced, especially if they went to Merced High, was Mr. Means.
Oh, yeah.
So
shout out to Mr.
Yeah,
Means.
shout out to Mr. Means. He was one of those teachers that was, I can relate. He was a big goofball, but he was super energetic even after he retired. And, people talked about, oh, yeah, Mr. Means. And I'm like, and I remember hearing Mr. Means as he was my U.S. history for 11th grade, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was authentically himself.
Yes,
That's
he was
how we
very
related.
authentically himself. And I remember my senior year, there was a video that popped up videography was becoming very, very easily accessible through your cell phone. And there was a video where he's just sitting there and he looked at the camera and he just showed the middle finger. And I just laughed so hard because that's just who Means was. He was just one of those types of people. And when it came to talking about, oh God, which war? Was it the Vietnam War? Where he got he gets really, really emotional for this one lecture. And that was the one time you saw him go from the happy-go-lucky teacher to the very stone-faced, this is serious, because a lot of his friends, during that time they went over to the war and they just never came back. So that, to the day that he passed, was always the lecture that he never looked forward to because of how emotional that he got. And it's just whoa, this is a different Means that we're talking about here.
Yeah. You felt the impact when they had the service at Merced High for him.
Yes,
all the students showed up.
I went to that, and
it was
one of those things. Yeah, it was heartfelt because it was during school too, and they welcomed everybody onto campus to go pay tribute to him. Yeah, I remember seeing you there. I think. I think we saw
Converse.
Yeah,
right?
well, I didn't have Converse, but I wore the flannel with the black pants, or that was his thing. Was a flannel T-shirt and Chuck Taylors.
Yep,
that's what he wore every single day. Every single day, he was a very simple person, and his favorite thing that he would tell me afterwards, he's like, "I'm just at the bar killing brain cells." I'm
again, authentically himself.
He was very authentically himself, and I remember Mr. Scheit, the principal, he's like, you can't say that. And he's like, I'm gonna anyway.
I think it's those teachers that are able, though, to really break the barriers.
Yeah.
Like I said, when you're getting to know all of them, but them being able to get a glimpse into your world, not necessarily whatever it is, but trying to be a positive influence, but that they're getting to feel that connection, that that community within. You're not separate. You're part of them, and you're helping them grow.
Yeah. So when I heard that he passed, and apparently his thing was one whiskey and one beer. That was his thing. So and his favorite bar was actually the Branding Iron. So I went there like the day after he passed. Like a lot of people went there, and that's what everybody had was one beer and one whiskey, and then everybody took off.
Homage,
so
yeah.
it was just an homage to him, and everybody was just like one beer, one whiskey, and that was it. So so when he passed, I was like, man, that was kind of a sad time. Like, just remember the impact that he had. I mean, I had him over summer, but like everybody would go to his classroom, like just he's like, hey, what are you doing here? It's like, oh, I'm in so-and-so's class, but, I wanted to stop by here. Okay, yeah. And and it was funny, like, he would get a phone call. Hey, so-and-so, go back to your classroom. They're calling now. Like, I can't defend it anymore. Yeah. Like, that was just Mr. Means. So he had that safe haven of a classroom.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
That's my goal to build is safe haven.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
creating a safe space is the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, we're going to conclude the podcast today. Kristen, thank you very much for hopping on with us today. A little bit of housekeeping for us. October 24th, we finally can talk about this. We are going to have the Oktoberfest out at the lake from 5 to 9. Is that what it is?
Don't quiz me on it. Yeah,
I think it's 5 to 9. 5 to 9, 21 and over.
We'll have the flyers coming out. So if you're not following us on Instagram,
it is posted on Instagram already.
Take a look there. That's the best bet to find.
Yeah, tickets are $50 each, $60 at the door. We're looking for sponsorships. There's 3 tiers. Tier 1, $100. Tier 2, $200. Tier 3 is $350. Obviously, these are going to come with some packages. I don't know what they are off the top of my head, so follow our Instagram page at Merced YPN. Reach out to one of your YPNers that are in the YPN, and
there's going to be a costume contest as well.
Oh,
so
we forgot about that.
Go ahead and get festive with your Oktoberfest.
Yeah. So, are we doing Halloween costumes, or are we doing their Oktoberfest?
I think
costume?
It's the Oktoberfest.
Okay. I just want to clarify.
I don't do Halloween costumes. I don't know, but I was like,
I believe it's going to be the traditional German.
Yes, and
wear.
my mom's told me what those are called, and I totally forgot.
I know the mug is called the
Google,
Stein.
So it's at your fingertips.
Yeah.
If you don't know or haven't been to an Oktoberfest, you can kind of look up some themes. But
yeah, they're pretty fun. They got the overalls and they're coming like brown and green.
One I went to.
I've been to a couple. They're pretty fun. But anyway, Kristen, again, thank you very much. Mrs. Camp, I should say. Mrs. Camp.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
It was an honor and privilege picking your brain today, and thank you for being a part of our
And it's always the smile. You always have a very big smile. So
and shout out to all my students, former and current and soon to be.
Yeah.
I hope you know that I love you all and will always be there for you.
And if you get her as a teacher, you're in good hands. Trust me. I've known her, like I said, for at least 15 years, and just knowing your story, what you've overcome, everything, that is why you won Teacher of the Year. That is why, exactly.
An unsung hero in the community. And if you have any other unsung heroes that you would like to nominate to be on our podcast, we'd love to hear about them and share their stories.
Yes.
So please reach out. Thank you.
Absolutely. With that being said, that's going to conclude episode number 32. I can't believe we've gone through 32 episodes already. This is crazy. So anyway, with that, we'll see you on the next one.